All right, what's going on, everybody? I want to welcome you to this week's episode of Terrance and Mike, the Sleeping Giants, presented to you by Double ETV. Mike, what's going on, man?
Not much, man. What's good?
Everything's good, man. It's been a interesting week, man, but we're back with another pod, man, another episode.
Yes, sir.
This first topic, man, this is your Phil, man. Vado versus Saigon, man. What are your thoughts and what transpired?
Well, I mean, I don't know how much information was put out about the battle beforehand, as far as the logistics of it. I was under the impression that this was going to be a battle rap style battle, but they did battle over beats, so that did kind of surprise me. It was 3 rounds. I think it went 16 both ways. Like Vado do 16, and Saigon would do 16, and Vado would do another 16, and then Saigon would do another 16, and that would be the first round. So the first and second round consisted of 2 16s from each rapper, and then the third round consisted of a straight 32 from each rapper.
Okay.
So I thought overall, to sum it up and give to not, I don't want to do a round play by play, but to sum it up, I thought overall, Vado I felt was like more polished. I felt like he was more I don't want to say prepared for the moment, but I felt like he executed better. I don't feel like nothing either one of them said was like spectacular as far as bars or wordplay, nothing I've never heard before. But for what it was, I enjoyed it. I thought it was cool. Consensus saying Vado won. I saw some Vado 2-1, some Vado 30s. A lot of people on the net saying Saigon got smoked. I definitely don't think Saigon got smoked. I'd probably say Vado 2-1 though.
Okay. Do you like the format, like how they did it over beats, and do you think that's something that we'll see more of?
Well, there's actually a league out there, a battle rap league. I can't think of their name at the moment. I'll mention it next pod if I remember. But they actually do battle on beats, and that's kind of their format that sets them apart from the other leagues. And I thought that was real cool. Kind of gives you the old Scribble Jam and the old school rap Olympic type feeling.
Right.
But I don't know. I guess it's up to the consumer. I think there's definitely a market for that still, but I think with the success of how battle rap is going right now, it would take a lot to get it back up to the forefront, to where people are looking at it on a level playing field with battle rap now. But we'll see.
I mean, one more question on it before we switch topics. Like, how do you think both of those guys would do in a acapella or the traditional format that they have these days? With the with the fans there and all that. Sometimes you gotta like start over a line or something like that.
Well, I mean, it was with people in the ring, so they had the close fan interaction. So I think they definitely, the atmosphere was somewhat similar, but like you said, with the acapella, sometimes you say a hotline and people react to it, and there's a pause, you have to pick back up. There definitely wasn't any of that. Although Saigon, I think, did mess up at one point in his first round and basically stopped. Well, he was telling the DJ to run it back, and it was like a looper or whatever. But he basically just ended up rapping his whole verse over, and which hints to what I was saying about Vado being a little more polished and some of those things, and maybe more prepared for the moment or poised, whatever you want to call it. But I didn't really see anything in the battle that would lead me to think that either of them are ready for that. But that's not to say that they aren't either. But I just couldn't. I don't think I could make a call like that based on what I saw from this battle, considering that all of the rounds were over beats.
Was there a lot of trash talk and all that?
I mean, there was some metaphors, some wordplay. There was I mean, it was really strictly bars. There wasn't much of the, the just generic general trash talk. I mean, I thought they both attempted to at least be creative with it,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought, that it came across well on
Mm-hmm.
both sides. But once again, I don't know what people's expectations were going into this as
Right.
well. And for me, with the thought that it was an acapella battle, when I heard them rapping on beats, it kind of did change my perspective of the whole thing. But I
Mm-hmm.
still enjoyed it. I still enjoyed what I saw, and I
Okay.
thought it was cool.
Any mentionable undercards?
I didn't watch the entire card. I know Charlie Clips was battling. I want to say P,
Mm-hmm. Right.
maybe. I could be wrong. But like I said, I didn't really watch any of the other ones. I mainly watched
Right.
Vado and Saigon.
Okay.
So, but
All right.
yeah,
So,
shout out to the league. Shout out to those two.
right.
It was a cool event. I enjoyed what I saw.
Okay.
Definitely.
Yeah. Nice, man. Yeah. Nice. It's cool. It was in Atlanta, and it's funny. Like today that we're filming this, Benny is going to be performing in the A. So it's cool that Atlanta starting to show that true hip hop spirit and everything. It's not just trap or just one style, but you got different pockets of people of interest going on in the A. Because most of the Nas concerts I've gone to was in Atlanta. And I know the first time I went to see Nas, Talib was like the opener. So it's definitely some true hip hop heads in the A for sure.
Oh,
Uh,
absolutely. I mean,
yeah.
you know, if you look at a lot of the artists from Atlanta that are, popular or gaining popularity right now, guys like JID, Earth Gang,
Hmm.
even guys like Deontay Hitchcock and Grip, who just was recently signed. Like, there's definitely a breed of, guys from Atlanta who are about lyricism and,
Right.
telling stories and the things that, are more generally considered traditional hip hop. So,
Right.
Atlanta is just, the spot right now, regardless of what kind of hip hop or,
Hmm.
even television, whatever that you're looking for. Atlanta's just that spot right now.
Facts. Facts. We got verses coming up, man. KRS-One versus Big Daddy Kane, man. I saw the banner. It was like, wow. I know there's been some talks for a while about KRS-One getting involved. Obviously, it's funny. Me and you was just talking. Maybe we was inboxing. Maybe I don't know 2 or 3 weeks ago about a Big L song and had Big Daddy
Hmm.
Kane on it. And then next thing you know, we see the announcement for Kane being involved in the verses. I like it, man. I think this is a good matchup. I know there was some talk before about KRS-One versus LL, and I guess LL just didn't feel like it was a good matchup for him. But yeah, I'm definitely excited, man. So to see KRS-One come out and Boogie Down Productions and Big Daddy Kane get busy, man. What were your immediate thoughts when you saw the announcement?
I mean, it surprised me. I wasn't expecting it. Like you said, we were talking about Big L and even some guys like Lord Finesse, Digging in the Crates, Percy P, all of those guys, old school, New York legends, a lot of those guys. And Big Daddy Kane's name, like you said, came up because of that Big L song. I think the song was Platinum Plus, and I think it was maybe a day or two later
Yeah.
I saw KRS-One versus Big Daddy Kane. So yeah, definitely, I think it's going to be a big moment for hip hop once again. I think some of the younger generation will be able to get an appreciation for both of their music, KRS-One and Big Daddy Kane. And
Yeah.
I'm really interested to see the set list, to see what they play, to
Right.
see the type of energy that they have, on the stage. If it's more of a friendly camaraderie type battle, or
Right.
if it's more in the spirit of hip hop.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, it should be very interesting. But I know Big Daddy Kane, is he's known for being smooth, having tricks up his sleeve,
Right.
and that type of thing. So and KRS is known for just being extremely high energy,
Yeah.
and he's known as the teacher. So,
Yeah.
all in all, I think it's going to be a great show. I think some people gonna learn some things. I think we're
Right.
gonna see some, you know, some of the originators when it comes to, you know, a lot of this fly talk that we see in rap right now.
Right.
You know, and yeah, it should be pretty dope.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting, man, because I know how competitive KRS-One is, bro. Like, he just I think somebody had interviewed him. I was watching, he felt like nobody could like have like 25 records better than his if you put like a set list together. So it's gonna be interesting to watch, how everything comes out because he's super competitive. And but again, so is Big Daddy Kane. And
Absolutely.
bro, but I just know when that bridge is over comes on, man. Oh my goodness, man. And like I grew up on Love's Gonna Get You. Like it's one of my favorite KRS-One songs. And Step Into a World. So he's got hits, man. And and Kane is smooth with it too, man. And he's I mean, you was talking about that Big L record, man. Like,
Oh yeah.
woo. I mean, like if you want to like say who had the better verse, I mean, you could argue Big Daddy Kane's. I mean, like it was crazy, man. So it's gonna be interesting how this Sunday turns out.
Like you'll be hard pressed to be on a song with Big Daddy Kane and have a better verse.
Yeah,
That's just how it works. You
right.
know, like when you talk about the level of competitiveness, he definitely has that same level. So I think it's gonna be fireworks, honestly. And
Right.
so you thinking about you gonna make a suggestion of who you think's gonna win, or you gonna pick a side, or what?
Man, I got love for both of them, man. My immediate thoughts, I'm gonna say Kara's won, but it wouldn't shock me if I'm wrong.
Okay, like I feel the same way. I have love for both hip hop legends, both well appreciated and their status in the game is well deserved. I think I'm gonna roll with Kane on this one though. You
Okay.
know, I was wrong about whatever the last one that we did was. I was wrong. I can't remember. I
No,
was
no,
severely
actually,
wrong.
I was wrong about the Fat Joe and Ja Rule.
Oh, okay. There was something we were talking about. Maybe it was oh, it was the Saigon battle. Yeah, I
Okay.
called Saigon, and yeah. So if consensus says Votto won, and I have to agree Votto won, yeah. So I was
Okay.
wrong about that, but
Okay.
we'll see. I think I'm gonna roll with Kane on this one.
Okay. All right. We'll see what happens, man. But either way, it's gonna. I mean, I'm happy for both of them just to get that shine. So,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be dope, man. I'm glad to see it. Bobby Smurda, man, providing NYC kids with school supplies. I'm a big watcher. I don't want to use the word fan because he doesn't like fans and want people to say they're fans of his. That's Star I'm talking about. And Star was like, man, when's Bobby Smurda gonna crank some music out? Like all this dancing and doing this and doing that. But it is good to see he's doing something for the community, although people are waiting on music from him. What are your immediate thoughts about what he's doing?
I mean, you know, there's a lot of negativity in hip hop just in general. So anytime I see somebody doing something positive for the community, I have to shout it out. So
Right.
just to touch on the story a little bit, he donated notebooks, pens, pencils, and paper to over 2,000 students.
Mm.
And he also talked with the students about the importance of staying in school and staying focused. I thought that was dope.
Right.
And this is not the first time that he has given back to the community. I think I read the story about him giving away free meals and haircuts to like 200 dads on Father's Day,
So
maybe some years ago or whatever. And I thought that was dope. So
yeah.
anytime we hear rappers talk about how much money they have all the time. You
Right.
know, if you're not donating that money to the community or giving
Mm.
back, to me, that's good that you have a lot of money,
Right.
but yeah, make a difference with what you have and what you do. So
Facts.
my props to Bobby Smurda for putting his money where his mouth is and doing something positive. So yeah, dope. That's dope. Props to him for that.
Yeah, facts, man. Facts. Yeah, I'm glad to see it as well, man. We'll shift gears, man. I'm hearing the talk there's a hood library coming to Los Angeles, man. Tell us about that.
yeah, this is another interesting story. So Chicago rapper No Name Gypsy, well, formerly known as No Name Gypsy, now goes by No Name. A lot of people know her from the whole incident with J. Cole some years ago after he put out the record Snow on the Bluff. But regardless, I've known about her before that. She put out a couple of great albums before that. But anyways, to the point of the story, she put out what is called the Radical Hood Library. Now, she started a book club in 2019 around the summer. She was taking some time off of music and really just, doing some soul searching, I guess, maybe some
Mm.
reading to, just kind of, improve her, or maybe I'm not really sure what her reading, you know,
Mm.
how much she reads or whatever. But regardless, she started the book club. She was having people on Twitter interact with her, sharing books, and they were having conversations about different things. And this was
Mm.
right around the time that the George Floyd thing happened as well.
Okay.
And just to get into the library, she's got a couple sections. There is a F the Police section, which features a lot of abolitionist text and
Mm.
stuff like that. We have a Black Capitalism Won't Save You section, but there are also lighter sections like the children's section, which is known as the Young Homies books.
Right.
And through all of this, she's been also been able to start a program where she donates books to people who are incarcerated through her prison chapter initiative. And I think I read an article where it said they started out with maybe like 60 some, 40 some books a month, and now it's up to 600 some books a month that
Mm.
they're sending to prisons for people, to really up their game and step up their intellectual game. So,
Yeah. So.
to me, regardless of how you may feel about her politics or what she, thinks
Mm.
politically or any of that, the fact that once again, a person taking their platform, their money and putting it, into something that's beneficial for the community. And then she's
Facts.
not even from LA, if I'm not mistaken. I think she's from Chicago,
Mm.
but this is out in LA. So I thought that was dope. So yeah, if you're in the LA area, donate some books to No Name's Radical Hood Library.
Yeah, it's dope, man. Yeah, I mean, it's good to see. I mean, because normally if something negative is going on, we're gonna always hear about it. But when people are doing positive things with their platforms, and a lot of times it's not even like publicized or even talked about. So that's dope, man, to shed light on people just trying to make a difference in the community and be helpful, man. That even actually it's kind of dope, man, that a lot of these stories that we have this week in our news segment, all of them pretty much like positive. What are your
Yeah,
thoughts
I
about?
enjoyed that too.
Yeah, what are your thoughts about Kanye West and Drake? Everything going on with Larry Hoover, trying to come together to see him get some progress.
Yeah, man. We were talking a few weeks ago, maybe a month or so ago, when
Mm.
the whole discussion about Donda and CLB, and whether it was all publicity or whatnot.
Right.
Well, regardless of what it was, right here we see two artists, two of the most powerful artists in the business coming together once again for something that's positive. And with the BMF series being out, and
Mm.
some of these other stories
Right.
about situations like that, I think it's really important that the people who do have the power to say something to make a difference do. And
Mm.
Jay Prince seemed to have a very significant part in this uniting of these two artists. So shout out to Jay Prince,
Yeah.
as well. And yeah, just I think it's a very positive thing, and I
Mm.
hope to see them get progress behind it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, obviously, Jay Prince is definitely well respected because I can't even remember a time in months that we have seen pictures of Kanye without the mask on. So,
Mhm.
so for him to take it off, man, for the meeting with Jay Prince just shows you what type of person or how they look up to him. But yeah, it's dope, man. And then I know Kim, even if I'm not mistaken, took like some classes, went to law school and and she was even working with the Trump administration to see some issues dealt with as far as mass incarceration. So Meek and Jay and like other people. So yeah, man, definitely if whoever it is, if they can take their resources and use their platforms to address that issue and bring some progress. I even think recently academics was interviewing Kodak Black, and so yeah, we just need more people, man, just addressing the issue that we have as far as mass incarceration, because these prisons really, I mean, it's just money, man. It's money, and we need to do everything we can to talk to our young men and women, man, just stay out of there if they can, like at all costs, man, because it's like once you get trapped in that system, man, it's tough.
Absolutely.
Speaking of like inmates, we have another segment, man. We got Common provides a recording studio for some inmates, man. What are your thoughts about that, man?
Yeah, okay. I just really found out about this today.
Yeah,
But from what I understand, like you said, it's a recording studio in the Stateville Correctional Center in Crest Hill, Illinois. And along with that comes a 12-week program in which, if you sign up for this program, you get the chance to make music, record music. They teach you how to write songs and all of these different things. And by reporting to the program, having good behavior, and doing, what you're supposed to do, you can actually earn a day credit off of your sentence if the sentence is one that permits it. So,
mm,
not only is he once again giving people access to, outlets to express themselves, but also, something that has a a goal towards the end of it.
right,
If I do this for 12 weeks and learn how to make records, learn how to make songs, learn how to write songs and do these things, then I'm getting a day off my sentence as well. And it's incentive for not only just good behavior, but
mm,
teaching people that there's other things that they can do with their time, other ways that they can be creative. And
right,
so once again, shout out to Common.
yeah, for sure,
It,
man.
like you said, it seems like there's a lot of people this week who are putting their money where their mouth is, and that's
Yeah,
dope.
yeah,
You
it's
know.
dope, man. It's very dope. And we're going to transition to album reviews. I was going to talk about the BET Awards, but we're just going to transition to album reviews, man. I want to keep the segment positive, so I'm not even going to go there about the BET Awards.
Well, hey, I'll say one thing about the BET Awards. I did
Sure.
catch the Grip, Tierra Whack, D Smoke, and Smino cipher, and it was dope. I
Yeah,
enjoyed that. Yeah,
yeah,
and I mean, I think all of those. I think all four of those are very talented artists. We've spoken about Grip, D Smoke, Tierra
right.
Whack as well on the show. So,
Yeah,
shout out to Smino. I'm sure we will end up covering one of his projects at some point as well. But yeah, they definitely, I thought, had a very dope cipher. I haven't gotten around to seeing the rest, but
mm,
like you said, maybe we'll talk about that next episode.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. I will say this: regardless of how people feel about the Grammys, I give them credit for one thing. While COVID was going on, they helped a lot of artists with rent and other things of that nature. So maybe that's something. I'm not saying BET or other shows don't do it, but that's definitely something that can be done, because especially with just not even just COVID, but just with the way times are going right now, any programs that can help artists who are out doing what they're doing, they don't have to necessarily be signed. It could just be not necessarily on the main stage, but still that's how they make their income. Any resources that can be given to help them to keep traveling and keep promoting their projects and keep building traction, man. They need as many platforms as possible. So I do want to give a shout out to the Grammys and the Academy Awards for doing that, because I know a lot of artists got help through it. G-Eazy, man. G-Eazy got an album called These Things Happen Too. That's a deluxe version, so that's the one I listened to. It's definitely a lot of albums lately we've been listening to. We talked about Donda But this album here is an hour and 40 minutes. Just like Migos album had about 20, I don't know, 24, 25 songs or something. So a lot of albums now you're starting to see a big number of the tracks or whatever. What are your immediate thoughts of G-Eazy's new album?
Okay, I didn't listen to the deluxe. I listened to the regular album. I
Yeah.
think it was, I want to say 19 songs.
Okay.
Um, Overall, I felt like the majority of the album was him talking about his relationships and his I thought he was very honest, I guess, when it comes to talking, detailing the things that in his life. He talked about you know, some of his habits as far as with women and drugs and different things like that. Uh Overall, there were a lot of songs that I felt like covered the same subject matter.
Mm,
A lot of songs that covered, once again, women, a lot of songs that covered drugs,
mm,
and a lot of songs that covered his feelings about both of those things. So I did like Mark E. Bassey on the Faithful record. He was the singer. I thought he did a really dope job.
mm,
The Faithful record itself was cool, but
mm,
I did like Mark E. Bassey's job. Um, I was not a fan of the Wicked Games record. You know, it was kind of one of those songs where you take a known song and then you kind of remix it and then you
mm,
rap. And I mean, maybe for some people they might like it, or it might be
mm,
for them. But yeah, I wasn't really feeling that one.
mm,
But highlights, I would say Instructions, When You're Gone featuring Lil Wayne,
mm,
Origami. I can't remember who was featured on that track, but the Breakdown record with Demi Lovato. We talked about that
right.
in one of the previous pods. And Time, he is a record. He talks about
Mm,
his relationship with Mac Miller
right.
and some of the things that he felt as a result of Mac's passing. So all in all, it was a decent, solid project. I'm not sure if any of the records from it would make my rotation as far as things that I listen to on a regular basis. But
Mm,
you know, this once again, this is my first G-Eazy project,
mm.
so it was cool. I definitely, and he's not a bad rapper. He
Mm.
can rap, So yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, I agree with you. I like the Instructions record. The When You're Gone with Wayne. I thought the Now and Later record with E40 was dope. Breakdown is cool. No More with Ty Dolla Sign. I'm sorry, Ty Dolla Sign. And Gerald with Anthony Hamilton was pretty cool. Yeah, I'm like you. I mean, it's my first time listening to a G-Eazy album. I've heard a lot of his singles, but I've just never got a chance to get around to listening to a full project by him. It wasn't bad. I don't think it was bad. I've heard definitely worse albums this year. If we gave it a grade from or graded on a 1 through 5, what would you grade it?
1 through 5.
Yeah, or what we normally do, 1 through 10.
I mean, 1 through 10. If we go 1 through 10, I give it a 5.5, 5.
Okay, okay,
It's
yeah,
decent, but
right, yeah.
um, there was the Anthony Hamilton record. Did you hear Anthony Hamilton on that record?
I heard, yeah, the vocals were real low. And for me, like I listen to music normally through my headphones when I'm at the gym. So I could hear it on the through the headphones. But if you just probably playing it through speakers, you have to kind of listen. His vocals are kind of like not blaring through the record. I guess he's doing more like backup vocal.
Okay, cool.
You didn't hear him on there?
I didn't. Now, granted, I only listened to the album once before
Yeah.
we did the review, but
Right.
I listened to the record twice, and I was like, I really don't hear
Mm-hmm.
Anthony Hamilton, and he's got one of those
Yeah.
voices where you hear it and it's Anthony Hamilton. So,
Right.
I
Right.
don't know, maybe like you said, maybe listening in a different setting or a different type of listen, like you said, maybe in a car or something like that. I
Yeah.
may hear it a little better, but I listened to that record twice and I was like, "Where's Anthony Hamilton?"
Right.
But
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know why they chose to kind of mix it that way. But yeah, I know what you're saying. And I guess for me, like I said, it's my first time listening to an album of his. I don't know that much about him as like a person. Like it helps me when I know a little bit about the artist, or maybe if I hear something, then I might, learn maybe more about your story or who you are or your struggle. Or I mean, like Nas' daughter, Destiny. Like I've been hearing about Destiny forever. So to see her grown now and she's, a businesswoman, like it's like you grew up with her, because you heard her, you heard Nas rap so much about her, or Eminem talking about Haley, or talking about his life. And so you have some, there was a movie about him, or 50. And so certain people, it's like you feel their story because you hear it. I don't really know that much about G-Eazy to like have like a connection, so much so I've never listened to like an album, but I guess I give him like a 6. It's not bad. It's not a classic, but it's not bad either.
yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's cool. Like it's a
Yeah,
solid album.
right. All
Yeah,
right, we'll transition to Meek Mill. He's back with another one, Expensive Pain. I'll start off on this one.
yeah. Go ahead.
I listened, I think, what was the previous project? Is it Champions or Championship?
Yeah.
There was some records on there I liked. Meek is one of those guys that I got introduced to him through like his mixtapes. And I enjoyed some records on the mixtape. The previous album, that there was some joints I enjoyed for sure. I mean, he had the one with Drake. Dangerous was like a record I really enjoyed. He had What's Free with Rick Ross and Jay-Z. I even like the Cardi B record he had on the previous album. And 24/7, it's pretty cool. So I know it's been a while. He came back with this one. Immediate thoughts. I thought Hot was cool. I mean, I enjoy Moneybagg Yo. I think anytime he does a feature, he definitely does a pretty good job.
Facts. Big facts.
The second record, Outside 100 Miles, I enjoyed that one. I only listened to the album once, so I don't want to like just give and normally on this show we don't like give a breakdown like a track by track with
True.
our reviews. We just kind of give like some general thoughts on it, but it was all right. I mean, I don't think it would necessarily be anything I would like listen to a second time, but it was all right. I mean, Meek can rap. He's just, I mean, here's the thing, and let me explain this for people. You have great actors, right? So you have people, Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks had a run from, I can remember, Big, and you just go all the way up to whether it was Forrest Gump or Apollo 13, even the one with Marlon Wayans. I can't think of the name of it, but he's had a lot of films where every time he comes out, okay, I'm going to watch it or whatever. But then somehow like a disconnect happened. And I love Tom Hanks, but somehow like with me, a disconnect happened where I haven't really seen a Tom Hanks film in like a while or whatever. But that doesn't take anything away from him as an actor. It's just like maybe my connection just not, or maybe the type of projects he's done lately haven't really hit as much for me as like his older stuff does. Now, my favorite actor is Tom Cruise, but that doesn't mean, I'm not saying he's the best actor, but he's my favorite actor. So he's someone that I enjoy. So for the most part, 9 times out of 10, when he drops something, I normally like it. I think the last film of his I really didn't care so much for was like the Mummy remake. But for the most part, most of the stuff Tom does, I enjoy. But there's a lot of other great actors and people I could name where I enjoy their work. And there's other people that are great actors, but it's not necessarily somebody I'm going to go to the theater to watch. If I'm just sitting at home and it happens to come on TV, I may sit down and watch it. I may enjoy it or I may not enjoy it. So I'm saying that to say Meek can rap, but it's just not my cup of tea. It's just not like what he talks about. It's just not for me. And that's fine. Like he doesn't need me. He still got money. And like what I'm saying is not going to make or break him or whatever, but it's just not my cup of tea.
For sure. Well, yeah. I mean, for me, it was cool. I definitely think he's put out stronger projects than this. Uh, as you said, I listened to the Dream Chasers, uh, Championship, Wins and Losses. All I think are a very solid project from Meek Mill. This one was cool. I think he's kind of switched up his style a little bit. He's doing more kind of singing rapping, more auto tune rapping than I've ever heard from him. And you know, I mean, it's cool if that's what he's feeling and that's what he wants to do. But
Mm,
I honestly prefer tracks like Blue Notes and Tweaking. Those
mm,
to me were two of the better songs on the album. Halo with Brent Fires was cool. I
mm,
enjoyed that. Like you said, Hot with Moneybag Yo
mm,
and Ride for You with Kaylani was cool as well. Um, we Slide with Young Thug. I'm not a huge Young Thug fan, by the way. When I mention this, but that was cool too.
mm.
Uh, Once again, is this something I'm gonna be bumping 24/7? No, I doubt if I'll ever come back to this project. But it had some songs on it that were cool.
Right.
Uh, I don't know if if we were to give a number or value, probably be about the same range, maybe slightly lower than what I ranked that G-Eazy album. So
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. I got a I got a friend of mine in Columbus. He's a huge, I mean, like huge Meek Mill fan. And me and my wife used to own a restaurant, and he would come by and we'd talk hip hop. And I mean, he was just trying to like tell me all these records and Meek that. And it's like, yeah, it's cool, man. Like I'm not saying the dude can't rap. I'm just saying it's just I just don't get it, like it's not for me or whatever. And but he feels the same way. And he's white, by the way, my friend, and he feels the same way about Eminem. Like I'm crazy about M, and he don't really care for M as much. So I mean, that's cool. Like it's like to each his own. Everybody has their own taste or whatever. Yeah, but again, trust me, Meek definitely has songs that I do like or whatever, but there's really nothing too much on this project that really just kind of stood out to me or whatever. But one of the criticisms I have heard of other people who are big Meek fans that they didn't feel like there was like any growth. And I guess with everything he's been involved with the prison reform and most of the rappings about sex and just pretty much the same thing, like no growth or whatever. Like, what are your thoughts about that?
I mean, it just you know, this is one. Okay, since we're on this, let me go ahead and address this. Fans have to stop with these narratives about, oh, artists aren't doing this and artists aren't doing that. Like, and I'm guilty of it myself because when CLB came out, that was one of my biggest criticisms of CLB. But at the same time, CLB sounds just like almost every Drake album that we've heard before now, and nobody's had a problem with it before now. So it's like, I feel like we just kind of have to, eh, when artists give us certain projects, every project ain't meant to be To Pimp a Butterfly. Just like
Mm,
every project ain't meant to be, So Far Gone or
mm,
2014 Forest Hills Drive. So,
mm,
certain offerings are what they are. And
mm,
then, when you know, when they want to give us a 444 or a King's Disease 2, then we'll take it, you
Mhm.
know, but we can't expect that from everybody too. So,
Let me ask
but
you a question. Let me
yeah,
ask you a
go
question.
ahead.
When I was giving the comparison, I was talking about the actors and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um, Now I do feel like Tom Hanks is like one of our special ones, you know, as far as actors of our day. Leo too, but what Tom Hanks pulled off in Castaway,
Mm-hmm.
there may be other great actors, but can you act in a movie where pretty much a volleyball is your co-star and make it believable for people, you know? And I think from acting standpoint, us going to a movie, if you were, you know, going to compare movies and albums, like I don't want to see that, you know, now granted, if you're doing like a sequel or whatever, that's fine. But I want you as an actor to be able to diversify yourself and not get stuck in the same roles all the time. Like I give you another example. I love Wesley Snipes. Like he is like someone I really, you know, looked up to growing up or whatever. And he can hold his own. Like he can really act. Like theater
Mm-hmm.
trained. He's a really good actor. But there was a period where he got stuck in this like ex-CIA agent type role and just kept doing those type of movies or whatever. And I love Wesley, but I wanted him to do something else. Like go what I mean, he had one movie I can't think of the name of. He played like a paraplegic. Like the guy can act, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So my point is like actors, you know, sometimes take on certain scripts because it challenges them or they believe in the story. And artists, I do like risk taking a little bit from an artist, you know, like because your fan base sometimes they're growing older, so maybe
Agreed.
you know you're not rapping to the 13 or 15-year-olds, and they probably got somebody else that they're looking up to. And I just think maybe what maybe some of the fans were saying who like him or whatever, I guess they just thought something different would come and not necessarily more of the same thing, you know.
Okay, but here, okay, well, two things. You said the Tom Cruise thing
Mm-hmm.
about was it Tom Cruise you were talking about or
Tom Hanks, the
Tom Hanks? Thank
yeah,
you. Castaway.
Castaway,
Thank
right.
you. Okay, well, Will Smith did it in I Am Legend.
Right.
So for the majority of that movie, you know what I'm saying, it was him and a dog. So,
Right.
you know, so there's other people who can do similar things as far as that whole narrative goes. But to the point of what you were saying, um, well, let's take Eminem for instance.
Mm,
Eminem tried to do a a grown or
mm,
you know an album that showed his growth, and
right.
you know people trashed it, and he came right back with Kamikaze, and
Mm,
people loved it. So like you know it it depends on what you're in it for, what you're trying to do, what your goal is.
right.
You know, there's very few artists that I think can just put out whatever and the fans just accept it, you
Mm,
know, for what it is. So
right.
I don't know, overall, I just think I definitely agree that that growth and all of those things are important, but at the same time, a lot of these cats are just trying to make money, and if
Mm,
it goes back to what I was saying earlier about people, you know, having kind of like a formula with how they do things, and if
mm,
it's not broke, then you know why fix it.
mm,
So
right. Yeah, I mean, you know, even Nas when he did Streets Disciple, I mean,
hmm
that's like coming off of Godson, where he had a lot of you know, major look or whatever. And I guess he wanted to kind of like dial it back, like not even like make something that's so like mainstream and kind of took it back to the streets or whatever. I love that album. Yeah, I mean, I love Streets Disciple, but it was definitely different, you know, from Stillmatic and God's Son or whatever. So I guess it just depends on you as like an artist or whatever. I mean, because you may have certain, okay, I'll give you an example. Like Al Pacino is a hell of an actor, but there's times he don't even want to do films. He just go do like stage theater or whatever because he loves acting, you know. And Anthony Hopkins. Me and my dad used to joke about him, like, man, his art is so dark. Like all his movies, for the most part, just real dark. But that's what he enjoys. You know what I'm saying? So, it's just, I don't know, man. I guess it's just up to the artist what they want to do and what they want to be. But I'm using Nas as an example. He shows that if you want to take that direction and just do whatever you want to do, then just do it. Because maybe if M would have got a better response on Revival, would he just kind of maybe kept doing it, or just say, hey, the hell with what y'all think, I'm making it because it makes me feel good or whatever. I guess it just depends what type of person you are.
At the end of the day, like, it's art, it's creativity, it's expression.
Right.
Nobody was walking up to Picasso and asking him, hey, why'd you paint that way? So, like,
Right.
we just have to accept art for what it is. And
Yeah.
some art, just like you said about Meek, you said you didn't feel like a lot of his music was meant for you. Some artists is not meant for us. You
Right.
know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or some art and some artists are not meant for us.
Yeah.
They're meant to reach other people
Facts.
and to resonate with other people. So
Facts.
that's what it's about. We just gotta accept what people give us and appreciate it for what it is.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll transition to NBA YoungBoy. Sincerely, was it Kentrell, I guess?
Sincerely, Kentrell.
All right. What are your thoughts?
I'm gonna keep this pretty short. I'm not very familiar with YoungBoy's music. I did like that song he had with Migos on their album. Outside of that, I'm not very familiar with him or his music. I mean, I know of him. Obviously, he's one of those names that you see and
Yeah.
But this is the first YoungBoy project that I've listened to. Honestly, a lot of the beats, a lot of the stuff that he was rapping about, the cadences is just, for me, it's just not what I'm typically used to listening to, not what I'm looking for when I go to listen to records a lot of times. But after listening to it, I have somewhat of an appreciation for what it is that he does and how he does it. I would say for me, the highlights on the record would be Break or Make Me. I thought was pretty cool. Life Support I thought was a pretty decent track. Kind of got deep on that and talked about some things going on in his life. Footsteps I thought was cool as well. And Level I Want to Reach, another one where he kind of gets, a little introspective, talks about some of his thoughts and, different things like that. I thought that was cool. And White Teeth, I thought was pretty cool. Just like, a radio record, something that, will play in the clubs and stuff like that.
Right.
So, do I think this is a record that I'll be coming back to, later this year at any point? I very much so doubt it. But, with this being my first project from him, I'll be interested to see, as with G-Eazy, what they do on their next projects, considering that now I've been introduced to their music on an album level. And, I've seen what they've done with these albums. So, shout out to YoungBoy. And we'll see what he does on his next project and what that sounds like.
Now, people can fact check me. Does NBA stand for Never Broke Again?
Yes.
So his merch is everywhere, especially in this city. So I've seen his merch everywhere. So I'm more familiar with his merch than I am with his music. Now, I will say this: I'll try to do a better job in the future of at least the artists that I don't understand or have a connect. Now, if I just can't connect with it, that's fine. But at least try to watch more interviews to at least try to hear what their stories are, because I don't really know like what I was listening to last night when I was like reviewing this particular album. But there was, a couple records on there, like Nevada, I thought was dope. Panoramic, the last song on there, I like that one. That may have been my favorite song on the entire entire album. 50 Shots was cool also. You
Yeah,
know,
that one was cool.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm way older than him, so it's probably just
Facts.
not for me. So I'm not gonna trash the brother. It's definitely a audience for him. I know a lot of people here. Me and Mike live in Montgomery. For those who are watching the pod, Montgomery, Alabama. He's definitely got a big fan base here, and what I think about it ain't gonna make or break him. So I just keep it moving. Lil
Yeah,
Wayne
like
and
we're just being honest with our honest opinion, and these are not facts, these are simply opinions.
right,
Everything we say.
exactly.
So,
Yeah,
we
and
can just give it.
yeah, exactly. And I try to be respectful of people's art, because just because I may not get it, it doesn't mean that it's trash. It doesn't mean that whatever. It's just it may not just be for me or whatever.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Lil Wayne and Rich the Kid, Trust Fund Babies. Now this project, I liked it a lot. Um, Obviously, I have a lot of respect for what Lil Wayne does, but Rich the Kid is one of those guys that I do understand what he's talking about, and I do understand what he represents. I've heard, both of his albums. I like the project a lot, man. I mean, I felt like it's short. I guess you can call it more like a mixtape. But I enjoyed it from top to bottom. I mean, Wayne, his punchlines are just crazy, man. Yeah, Bleeding, I like a lot. Still, and the actual Trust Fund, I like those records a lot. I felt like, I mean, it's hard to do an album or a project with Lil Wayne because for the most part, is going to outshine you. But
Hmm.
Rich the Kid brought it though, man. He definitely brought it, and you could tell he had probably like a lot of input on the hooks and stuff like that. But yeah, for the most part, it's a short listen. It's just 29 minutes, but I enjoyed it, and I've definitely listened to it maybe 2 or 3 times already.
Okay. I thought it was cool. Highlights for me, Trust Fund Babies or Trust Fund
Mm-hmm.
was that record. Feeling Like Tunchi, Bleeding, and Headlock. I thought was probably the best song on the album. Headlock for me.
Okay.
Um, my only criticism would be a lot. I felt like some of the songs were kind of repetitive as far as the subject matter.
Mm-hmm.
It almost kind of felt like they were just rapping and not really rapping about a specific subject
Mm-hmm.
or to make a point or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and I mean that's cool. There's a time and place for that as well.
Sure.
But overall, I thought it was cool. Like you said, kind of felt like a mixtape.
Okay.
Uh, Rich the Kid was cool too. But I mean, I definitely think, like you said, when you do a project with Lil Wayne, you're gonna get outshined in most categories, and
Mm-hmm.
I think that was a specific. I think this was nothing but a clear example of that. So, but he did most. Uh, he did have a decent verse on Trust Fund as well
Mm-hmm.
as Headlock. I thought his verses on both of those songs were decent.
Yeah.
So cool. Like it was cool.
But yeah, I mean, I like some of the verses that Rich did. I felt like he was like he knew like, okay, I gotta bring it, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm on here with Wayne. But yeah, I mean, that's cool, man. I mean, yeah, I do definitely agree with what you're saying. Like everything ain't gotta be a message, everything ain't gotta be whatever. I mean, for me, it's definitely music I can go run to, music I can listen to at the gym or whatever. It's like like pump up type music or whatever. So it's cool, man. And it's definitely anytime you get something from Wayne, he's gonna say something crazy and off the wall anyway or whatever.
Hmm.
So I normally laugh. Most of the time I'm listening to his bars or whatever. But yeah, man. I mean, it's definitely something I would recommend people check out. Even Wayne's got some of that criticism from some people that they feel like he just kind
Absolutely.
of talks about the
I
same
mean,
thing.
that's probably you were talking about growth. That's probably one of my biggest criticisms of Wayne, in my personal opinion, is that, I feel like Wayne can rap all day, but you know, at the end of the day, like, you know, are you just rapping because you can, or just rhyming words, or are you trying to make a point with what you're saying, or is there a complete, cohesive thought?
Mm.
And just that just goes into, the different, and I know he's capable of that. So like that's the thing, it just goes into, I guess, like we were saying, the different bags that people can be in and what they're feeling creatively at the time. So, for what it was, I thought it was a cool project. I'm sure it will listen. I'm sure it sounds great. Riding in the car. I didn't ride with it, but I'm sure it sounds great riding. So yeah. All in all, it was cool.
Let me ask you a quick question before we transition to the last one. What were your thoughts on the Carter Five and Funeral, Wayne's previous two projects?
Uh, I didn't listen to the Carter Five. Hold on, no. I bought the Carter Five. I didn't listen to. I bought the
Funeral.
Carter Five, and I didn't listen to Funeral.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I wasn't overly impressed with the Carter Five. Honestly, I thought it was probably my least favorite of the series.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I like Demon, Mess, uh, New Gospel, Problems, Dope Niggas. Wayne, me and my cousin, me and him have this thing where um I'm a big Tom Cruise fan and he's a big Will Smith fan. So
Hmm.
it's like this back and forth thing about who's gonna put out the better movies or whatever. And then growing up, I was the Nas guy, and he was always the Jay-Z guy. And
Hmm.
it's a funny story. I think we was driving to Atlanta. So we was gonna play both albums, Reasonable Doubt and Illmatic. And
Hmm.
so he was listening to Reasonable Doubt. And then I think first we listened to the Illmatic, and then we put in
Hmm.
Reasonable Doubt. And he just looked at me and was like, all right. Nas got that one. But but my point is, now he's a huge Lil Wayne fan, my cousin that I'm talking about. And then I'm always the Eminem guy. So it's like me and him always kind of on the opposite spectrums or whatever. But I've come to appreciate what Wayne does. I mean, it's somebody for like everybody. And like what I listen to Nas for, I don't want to hear that from maybe M or hear that from Black Thought or whatever. So everybody's different and unique. And Lil Wayne, you know what, bro? I like this rock album, like the Rebirth. Like that's what I'm talking about. It's like people just kind of taking that risk. And I enjoy rock music myself personally. I love Aerosmith. I love Smashing Pumpkins and Nirvana and different bands and stuff like that. And I guess Wayne, likes certain stuff and skateboarding and things of that nature. So I thought the Rebirth album was pretty dope. So I'm only bringing that up because I guess Wayne's is one of those people he can probably do whatever he wants to do or whatever. And
I
just
mean, he's got, once you reach a certain status in the game, you can, I feel like at least, you can pretty much do whatever you want. That's
yeah.
why Drake, is able to, put out a Hotline Bling and songs
Mm-hmm.
like Controller and different, and then go do drill music,
Wow.
because he's Drake. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, when you get to a certain point, I even, I'd be weary to say this, but I'm gonna say it anyways. Um, like, let's look at Beyonce for instance.
Mm-hmm.
One of Beyonce's most popular videos was that I think it's the "Smack It in the Air" song. That one, you know what I'm talking
Mm-hmm.
about?
Right. Right.
Yeah. But when we talk about her singing on that song, she's really not singing.
Mm-hmm.
She's got way better singing songs than that. Even when Beyonce has rapped, she's got way better songs when she raps better than that. But that's, people love that song for whatever reason. So, I don't know. I guess, certain things just hit for certain
Right.
reasons or whatever. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true, man. And one thing I give Wayne, Nas, and Eminem all credit for at this deep in their careers, they really don't have to care or really push the pen as hard as they do. And they do it because they obviously care about it.
Look at Kanye, bro. Poopity doopity scoop. You know
Mm.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, poopity doopity scoop. You
Yeah,
remember
man.
that, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So we'll transition, man. Our last review is Lute, Goldmouth. What are your thoughts, man?
I enjoyed this album. Probably the album I enjoyed most out of
Yeah, you
all
you
of them.
you you
Actually, I
lit
won't
up.
even say
You lit up
probably.
talking about it.
I won't even say probably. I enjoyed this album more than any album I listened to this week. Highlights for me were 100 first song. I thought that was a great opening track. GED, which has been out for a minute, but I thought it 100 flowed very well into it. I
Mm-hmm.
thought the first three songs honestly flowed extremely well from
Mm-hmm.
track to track to track. So yeah, 100 GED and myself I thought was a very great opening, and I thought it set the stage for
Mm-hmm.
the album very well. I enjoyed Eye to Eye. I think that one was featuring Cause.
Mm-hmm.
Changes with BJ, the Chicago Kid, was incredibly dope. One of my favorite records on the album. Uh, Amen with Little Brother. You got Little Brother outside. You know what I'm saying? Fonte, bro said something like, the one to go Prince Hakeem and paint the walls with a semi gloss. Like, come on, bro. Like, Fontigolo, new Fontigolo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Shout out to Fonte. Yeah, you got Little Brother on the album. That was dope. Um, what else? Bird Song
That's
with
my joint right there.
Saba.
I like Bird Song a lot.
Bird Song with Saba and G. It was crazy. And I like Flossing with Boogie as well.
I know you
Boogie.
would. I know you
I
would.
don't think Boogie can make a bad song. Like, I haven't heard a bad song or feature from Boogie yet. Like, I think it's impossible. But yeah, so a lot of things to like about the album.
Mm-hmm.
And his verses on Overnight, I thought were probably some of the
Incredible.
better verses on the albums,
Yeah.
on the whole album, as well as Ghetto Love with Ari Lennox and Black Soul. His verses on that song, some of the better verses
Mm-hmm.
on the album. So, there was a lot of things for me to like about it.
Yeah.
If I was to put a number or value on it, I would say that's easily a solid 7, 7.5, easily.
Right. Yeah, it kind of puts me in the mind a little bit. Not saying they rap alike, but kind of reminds me a little bit of D Smoke's album, just the way it's kind of sonically done.
Constructed, yeah, I feel that.
Yeah, I love Birdsong. Birdsong might be my favorite track on the album. Love Flossing. I agree with you. I mean, West Side Boogie is definitely one of those guys for me. I like Life, Overnight, Crashing. I think I like the
Mm-hmm.
latter parts of the album a lot better. But I think Eye to Eye, the other guy, Kaz, is that
Mm-hmm.
his name?
Yes.
Whew, man, that was boy, that's one of them joints there. That guy, you gotta be careful with him, man. He
Snap,
came on there
yeah.
smoking, man. That was
Yeah, he snapped.
yeah, he snapped on that one. But yeah, overall, man, this is my first time listening to Lute. So that's why I enjoy doing this pod with you, because I've learned things about artists that I wouldn't occasionally have known much about, like Lute, Lil Sims. Those are all people
Mm-hmm.
that Mike put me on to. Yeah, I enjoyed the project, man. I give it about a 7 as well. Again, it kind of reminds me a little bit of D Smoke's project, and I texted you before the pod. I was listening. I was like, man, this guy kind of reminds me of somebody. And this is a big compliment for him, man, because it kind of puts me in the mindset of like Pharoah Monch a little bit, listening to the way he kind of rapped or whatever. And you told me that he changed his cadence or whatever on this project because he rapped kind of differently before, but listening to it there's some songs, particularly from Pharoah Monch, that kind of like reminded me of.
Yeah, on GED, he said, I think the opening lines was just got in the habit of switching the flow. So, yeah, and we'll talk about, some of that stuff more. I mean,
Yeah.
later, but
Right.
he he was on the Under the Sun record for Revenge of the Dreamers 3 with J. Cole and the Baby.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember when he started rapping on that song, I was like, yo, that's the first time I heard Lute rap like that.
Mm.
So, I think really, he's just, found the, I've seen him elevate as an artist, and I think he's found, a nice groove.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, shout out to Lute, shout out to Cos,
Yeah.
All the, Dreamville,
Right.
know what I'm saying? Ari Lennox on there too. So yeah,
Yeah.
it was dope.
Yeah, man, it's dope, man. We got a couple new songs out this week for our segment of new music of the week. Nas, Big Nas. This is supposed to be from his masterclass, a line reference from EPMD2. I liked it, man. I liked it. Another beautiful collaboration between him and Hit Boy. I look forward to seeing what the class is going to entail. Hopefully, I can be a part of it and check it out, man. But anything I can learn from Nas, I'm down for it. It's a cool track, man. I liked it.
Same, yeah, dope track. Nas is Nas always. Hit Boy was another, dope track. I thought the video was dope.
Yeah.
There's like some dancing and different stuff like that in the video.
Right.
And this is my first hearing of the masterclass platform, but I'll definitely be, checking for that a lot more, after hearing about this. So
Right.
yeah, I thought it was cool.
Yeah. The video, if I'm not mistaken, that was in Queensbridge too, right?
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah. It looked like the projects he grew up in. And lastly, man, we got Wale and J. Cole rapping over the Q-Tip Vibrant Thing sample with Poke It Out. What were your thoughts?
Love it. Love it. Wale, big Lauren fan. Yeah, I know he gets a lot of flack, but when it comes to rapping, I think he's one of the better ones out there and has been for some years now. But yeah, it's a dope track. I love the flip of the sample. Cool and Dre did a dope job with that. I love the video,
Right.
fun, kind of summertime type vibe video, that was kind of dope. J. Cole killed
Yeah, J.
it.
Cole killed it, yeah.
I thought Wale's verses were dope as well.
Right.
It looked like a fun video. Looked like they enjoyed shooting it. So yeah,
Sure.
I
Is
love the
Wale
song.
dropping like a new album or something soon?
Yeah, Wale drops Florin 2 on October 22nd.
Okay. All right. So,
Yeah,
all right, something we can come
which
back and
happens
talk
to be
about.
my sister's birthday. Shout out to my sister.
Shout out to her, man, for sure, for sure. And our news of the week, man, we got Drake and Chris Brown being hit with a copyright infringement lawsuit for no guidance. Man, this, I know probably every pod, man, I've talked about my dad. My dad passed away last year, and my dad was like my best friend, man. We'll argue about stuff and not like in a bad way, just like me and you just like talking about music or whatever. We'll argue about stuff. And one of the most funny arguments my dad used to always have was about the whole Robin Thicke Blurred Lines that he's rip off the Marvin Gaye song. My dad was like, he ripped them off, man. I'm like, it's a groove that they took. It's not necessarily like they took the song or whatever, but I will say, just I'm not saying Drake and Chris Brown did or didn't. I'm just saying that artists who make music definitely have your stuff copywritten, protect yourself. Because I have heard some lines of mine, in certain songs, and I'm thinking, whoa, like I'm not saying two people can't think of the same line, but definitely, there is some stuff that goes on. I'd be interested to see how this turns out, but a lot of this does happen where artists are being sued because another artist feels like someone took an idea from theirs, and maybe sometimes it may not even always be intentional or
Mhm.
something that the artists themselves tried to do. It could be something that the producer heard and did something or whatever. Because a lot of R&B singers, especially, I don't know much about Chris if he writes or doesn't write his stuff, but a lot of R&B singers don't write their music and they have writers. So sometimes it could be something that the writer heard and did, but you never know. You just gotta be careful. If I was like an R&B singer, I probably have like a clause with somebody that, hey, you are you sure you didn't like rip nobody off or whatever? And if you did, then you gonna be held liable for it. But what are your thoughts? I know you don't probably want to hit it too much, but what are your just immediate thoughts hearing about artists being sued?
Well, I mean, stuff like this happens all the time. I'm not even really surprised by this. And a lot
Mm,
of times, these cases go to court and then you really don't hear anything about them for years. And
yeah,
then maybe, 4 or 5 years, oh, they settled for such and such.
right,
So,
right.
yeah, I don't think it's going to be anything that's going to be extremely detrimental to either of them.
Mhm.
But we'll see what happens with it. And this is definitely not the first time we've seen an instance like this. So
Right. Yeah, because maybe the Pharrell and Robin Thicke one, that may be the extreme
that was
version. Because
probably one of the bigger
yeah,
ones, honestly.
yeah, man. It was that 5 million or whatever. Woo.
I
I mean,
can't
that's
I can't remember the total, but
yeah.
as
They
far
were-
as the coverage and all of that, that was definitely one of the bigger stories when it
mhm.
comes to that topic. So
Right. Before we close out our show, every week we do an artist spotlight. This week we're going to toss it over to Mike. He's going to give us a breakdown and show some love to Lute, who just put out Goldmouth.
yeah, Lou, we just talked about him briefly with his album Goldmouth. Now Lou, there's not a lot of information on him out there, so this isn't going to be as detailed as some of our other ones. But he obviously signed to Dreamville. Uh, his first mixtape, which was called West 1996, was put out in 2012. Had a kind of an old school vibe, him rapping to a lot of old school beats, and but you definitely could see the potential as a lyricist, and you saw the creativity within his punchlines and things like that.
Mm,
So I definitely thought after hearing that he had a lot of promise. After signing with Dreamville, he dropped his debut, which was West 1996 Part 2. And that, some of the highlights from that were Juggin, Morning Shift, Get Up,
mm,
Premonition, and yeah, I thought that was a dope project. Uh, Now Dreamville, or like I said, Goldmouth, uh, it's really his sort of coming out party. West 1996. I'm not sure if that was a mixtape or whether it was regarded as a mixtape or an album, but it was a project that he had put out, and he was with Dreamville while he put that project out. But this is definitely being looked at as his debut album
mm,
for whatever reason. So yeah, I thought that as we talked about Goldmouth, he did a very great job, with his debut. A little backstory on him: he was with a group called Forever FC, which is a former hip hop collective out of Charlotte. Uh, he's also been featured on the Madden 21 video game. He was on the song "Get It and Go."
mm,
Uh, he's been on Revenge of the Dreamers 2, Revenge of the Dreamers 3, and Revenge of the Dreamers 3 director's cut. Songs that he was on: Still Slumming. I mentioned the Under the Sun record
mm,
earlier. He was also on the Sleep Deprived record,
mm,
Revenge, and Still Dreaming. So yeah, uh, J Cole has his camp over there with Dreamville. I pretty much mentioned most of them in this show. Obviously J Cole, JID, Cos,
mm.
R Lennox. There's Boss, Earth Gang, Omen, and last but not least, the man of the hour at the moment, Mr. Lute, who just dropped a dope project, and we're here to show him a little love on that. So shout out to Lute.
Right.
Uh, the Goldmouth is definitely, I think, one of the better projects I've heard this year, and
Mm,
I won't be surprised if I end up coming back to it before the end of the year. I know there's several songs from the album that definitely make my rotation. So I wouldn't be surprised if I end up listening to this album in its entirety again before the year's out. So yeah,
Right.
shout out to Lute, Dreamville, everything they got going over there.
Yeah.
You know, it's pretty cool. It's dope.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's what's up, man. That's my first time listening to a Loop project, but I definitely enjoyed it. Yeah, him, D Smoke, Lil Sims. I mean, there's a lot of great projects that people definitely need to check out, man. Mike, give
Absolutely.
everybody your social media information, how they can link up with you.
Okay, that's M1C_CH3CK. Mike check. The I is a one, the E is a three underscore in the middle. That's simple.
And you can go to Facebook and like Terrance Hill. Also go to Instagram and look me up, Terrance Hill the Great. And also make sure you go to YouTube and go look up Terrance Hill Music. That's all one word because there's an actor named Terrance Hill. So put in Terrance Hill Music, look me up. Be sure to hit that like, subscribe, and notification bell. And you are watching this platform on Double ETV Media on YouTube. So be sure to hit that like, subscribe, and notification bell for this page as well. So, Mike, I appreciate it, man. And we look forward to next week's episode, man.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
I want to thank y'all for tuning in to this week's episode of Terrance and Mike, the Sleeping Giants podcast. We'll see you on next week. Y'all take care.